All right. I am thrilled to be joined by the legend Spurs assistant coach, Becky Hammon. Becky, how are you? Thank you so much for making the time.
I'm good. Thanks for having me today.
Of course. Now, you are here on behalf of Prime Video. You are promoting the WNBA Commissioner's title game. For those who don't know what it is, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, if you don't know what it is, that's because it's new.
There you
So,
go.
you're not alone in that aspect. But it's a interseason tournament in a sense, where the teams get to compete for a different prize pool, kind of a championship in the scheme of a bigger championship. And it's something that's not foreign to, I know, the women of the WNBA because they've played overseas so many years. And it's, if you're in Spain, you're playing in the Queen's Cup, which is different than, the regular season championship. So I think it's an opportunity to see some really high level basketball and something that the fans should really be looking forward to. And I know I am. I want to catch that game on Prime Video, 9 Eastern here on Thursday between the Storm and the Sun. And I'm looking forward to seeing the ladies hoop.
That's going to be great. What are you most excited for in the game? Who are you psyched to watch?
Oh, man, everybody wants me to pick a team. I can't pick a team because my college coach, one of my college coaches is now the head coach of the Sun. And then obviously me and Sue go way back. So I'm always cheering for her and hoping that her team does well. It'll be interesting though, because their three big studs over there with the Storm are just coming back from the Olympics. So with Breanna Stewart, Jewel Lloyd, and Sue. So it'll be interesting. They're probably gonna have a little bit of jet lag to deal with. So we'll see how they come out of the gates.
Yeah, you're just going to be a fan of the game on Thursday.
I am. I want to see good basketball. Who wins? I don't really care. Like I said, I got a dog on both sides. So
I love it. Well, Becky, you have had a very busy off season. You were in the mix for the head coaching job in Portland, which ultimately went to Chauncey Billups. And I read an article or an interview with you where you said, you were sort of expecting that. What was that interview process like, and what was going through your head while you were in it?
Well, anytime obviously you get to go through this process and really dial in on a team, dial in on yourself in some sense. With your leadership style, your vision for what you see with that team, is always beneficial. So my agent had told me going in, Chauncey was the front runner. And I got to tell you that most every race I've ever entered, I've never been the front runner. So that doesn't concern me. What concerns me the most is that I get in there, I get in the race and I do my best, and then we'll see what happens. Me and Chauncey have been knowing each other since college. He went to the University of Colorado. I went to Colorado State. So we've been cheering for each other for a long time. Like I said, that didn't deter me from going for it. Like I said, I'd rather get in there and, like I said, really dive in. It's always beneficial for me as well, and gets me better for the next time.
Totally. Now, did you ever talk to the Celtics about the head coaching job? Because I know someone put up a billboard outside the Celtics practice facility that said, hey, Brad, hire Becky or Kara, talking about Kara Lawson, the Duke women's head coach.
My uncle paid for that.
No way.
No, I'm kidding.
You got me.
No.
I'm way too gullible.
No, I don't know who put that billboard up.
That's so good. Did you talk to them at all about that position?
No, I don't know where that came from. I think obviously people are probably ready for, like I said, change and forward progress for women. So I have no idea. I have no answer for you on that, who did that or what that was about, but.
It was a great billboard. I was all for it. I mean, I think women are better at managing everything than men. So, it's high time. But how do you feel about carrying the mantle of being the first in so many aspects? You were the first to coach an NBA team when Greg Popovich was ejected in 2020. And I wonder what that feels like for you. If there's ever any point where you're just like, can I just be Becky, or if that is so integral to the role that you're playing?
Well, it's obviously a delicate balance for me, because at the end of the day, I want to be hired on my coaching credentials. And I wish we were at a place in history where this was not a topic. I wish this was something that was not at the forefront of these conversations, in a sense. We're not there yet. So obviously I know there's always going to be conversations about it, but I'm hoping for the day where, it's not news, it's just a coach doing her job. And in some ways, it's obviously people pulling for you and cheering you on. Is super beneficial. And I think a lot of times, other people, my peers, a lot of times feel that stuff too. And it kind of puts me in a tough spot as well, because we're doing the same job. And a lot of times, their names are not being mentioned. And, so I try to be sensitive to that, as well as handle with as much care as I possibly can, carrying that mantle. It's a mantle that I try not to think about it because it can be overwhelming. And what my primary goal and objectives and focus needs to be is just being the best coach I can be. And then after that, let the chips fall where they may. My job is to be me, to do the best I can, and hopefully open some doors for some other girls to walk through.
Yeah, I mean, that's so crucial. Once you need people in there to represent what's possible, and you've been such a huge influence for so many. I'm wondering, I've talked to a few female coaches in the NFL, and they said that it wasn't necessarily within organizations or within the league that they faced discrimination or came up against roadblocks, but that they felt it was mostly like the comments or fans. And I wondered what your experience had been with that.
So obviously there's going to be people that are going to say whatever. I mean, I've kind of come to the conclusion, and I came to this conclusion a while ago, I cannot be concerned with what everybody else is saying or thinking or talking about or projecting. I really have no control over those conversations that are happening in bars across America, right? And there's going to be certainly people that are on board. And I think the majority of Americans are on board with equality, with equity across the board. And I don't care if it's male, female, black, white, gay, straight, rich people, I think are primarily at the point where they feel like this is a good thing. This is good for everybody. Businesses, I think you start doing research and you find out that having women in these situations, in these leadership roles, are actually financially beneficial to your company. So at the end of the day, this is a business. And I think people also have to see the value in bringing women on board, and the voice. I think one thing that Pop has done very well is thinking outside the box and grabbing a mind from over here, from Europe, grabbing a mind from a former player, grabbing a mind from a female, grabbing all these different backgrounds and ethnicities. Because people come with different experiences, a different viewpoint. And I think you come up with the best conclusion when you have all these different viewpoints, and it shouldn't be intimidating. I'm not intimidated by somebody else's opinions or thoughts. Like I want to know them. Tell me why you think that way. And we can learn from each other. And like I said, come up with the best solutions for our players and how to be successful when you get the different kinds of thought processes. And I know that was one of the first things he told me. He said, if I hire you, I can't have you be a yes man. And I said, I will not be a yes woman or man. I'm always going to tell you what I think. So
that's really great. I think that it requires a sort of letting go of your ego, or being so confident that you're like, I am not afraid to learn from someone, because it doesn't mean that I am less. It means that we're just all going to be made better. And I think that's what great management is. What would you say your management or leadership style is?
I'm somebody who's very relational. I'm somebody who, I think you have to coach the whole person. I think buttons that you push on one guy, you can't push on the next guy. The way you communicate with one person, maybe not be the best way with the next person. So I think building relationship, building trust with these players, and then also being knowledgeable. They can sniff you out real quick if they think you're full of crap. So I think telling them the truth, in an age and an era where in their spotlight and in their shoes, you can always hear how great you are. And I think sometimes telling people the truth in a good way, in an appropriate way, can be super beneficial to somebody. And I think being that voice of truth for these guys in a lot of different ways, not just on the basketball court, but just in life, I think they really appreciate that.
Yeah. What is the best piece of advice or like a guiding principle that you come back to when things get hard?
Take less and give more, probably. Because when things get hard, I think you tend to pull inwards. You tend to try harder. It becomes more me focused. And I think in those moments, it's when you give back the most that you'll actually end up finding yourself again. At least that's been the case with me. And I think just in general, just human nature, when the guy next to you has that same approach, everybody gets more.
I'm going to embroider that on a pillow. That's perfect. That's the best answer I could have thought of. Now, were you in touch with Pop during the Olympics at all?
Yes, briefly. We would text back and forth.
How was that experience watching those guys over there?
I mean, I'm just over the moon happy that they won, because that means my dinner and wine is going to be a lot better this whole year. So very selfishly, I was so happy they won. Obviously, so happy for him and the guys. I know first of all, what kind of pressure that they were under, and Pop specifically. There's no Anthony Davis, there's no LeBron James, there's no Steph Curry, there's no James Harden, there's no Kyrie, you could go down the list. And so I thought they did a tremendous job coming together in a really short amount of time. I think what people don't realize is the European game is different, there's different rules. And most of these teams, these national teams, they're practicing for months in advance leading up to the Olympics. And Pop, and his coaching staff that he put together, got those guys together in a very short amount of time and beat some very good teams to come up with gold. So I was just over the moon happy for him and the guys. And like I said, it's something that I know he so values. And, it's been 2 or 3 years where I could tell you, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's over for him and that he's coming back with a gold medal, because I know it's something that is so very important to him and that he values so much. And those moments with those guys and just his whole background, I think it's just an awesome way to end the summer. That's for sure. And going into next year, for sure.
Totally. And for your upcoming dinners, I think that's the most important thing of all.
Yes.
All right.
Thank God.
Becky, I've got one last question for you. I'm doubtful that you're going to answer it, but I'm going to try anyway. Ideal head coaching job. You can coach any franchise. Where would you go?
You're so right. I'm not going to answer that.
Worth a shot.
I'm not going to answer that. You know what? It's really, it's about a fit for both sides. And I said this in a previous interview too. It's about, I'm not going to get in there and tell an organization what I think they want to hear. I'm going to give them me. And if me is what they want, then we move forward. But I'm not going to be anybody else. I have to be me, so that everybody gets what they sign up for.
Yeah.
When I get hired.
Anyone would be lucky to have you. Can't wait to see what happens with your already unbelievable career. And thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you.
For the best stories, easy to find scores, and comprehensive team pages, plus access to every live Fox Sports game and exclusive bonus cameras, download the all-new Fox Sports app now.